and you do bad, what happens to your
If
religious
there is a
ideas?
religion.
So why don't we say you don't have a religion?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
What's it to do with the conversation?
It really does not matter.
It's talking about a cause.
You're right.
What's he trying to say? It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or not. He's saying he wants to understand your own view.
No, I'm saying I asked a question and I'm a Talib after that. I want to learn.
Okay.
Why does it matter? I'm a Muslim, Hindu, Christian.
Does matter. Does matter.
You know why? Because you know when we're talking, he wants to know where you're coming from. As a world view, not because you're a Muslim or not. He just wants to know.
Did you hear my question? It was really simple, contradictory question. So, Quran apparently says that Muhammad's all his sins, past, future, everything,
Don't put words in his
are
mouth.
forgiven, right? But I'm saying Islam also says Muhammad
Where?
is not capable
Where does it say?
of committing any sin.
One
because
second. Where does it say that?
That's one of the conditions of being a prophet is
No,
innocence at heart. There's 6
Wait,
conditions. Come
wait,
on,
wait,
Mansoor.
wait, wait.
You know that.
Excuse me.
Are you
Where does it
denying-
say that?
Are you denying
you-
his chest was open to cleanse his heart?
For what?
Are you denying
what?
To rid him of any potential of committing sin?
Is that what it says in the text?
What do you mean? Is that what? Are you saying?
If
is
you're
that-
making
are
claims,
saying
you need to
it's not
substantiate
true?
them.
Are you saying it's not true?
No, I am saying,
Are you denying my claim? Are you denying
Let me-
that prophet?
let me tell you. If you make a claim, Islam says this, Islam says that, substantiate your claim from the text. What
Deny
you-
me. Deny me.
It's not how it works.
Can you say it didn't happen?
Listen carefully.
Can you say it did not happen?
Listen. You claimed something. Substantiate your claim rather than saying deny me. You're not a child, you're a grown man well enough to understand that you made the claim, the onus is on you to substantiate. Thank you very much.
Mansoor, it is common knowledge in Islam.
I'm not asking you about common knowledge.
You know, if we ask 99% of Muslims,
Doesn't
today,
matter.
They know,
Doesn't
what
matter.
do you mean doesn't matter?
Doesn't
That's
matter.
how Islam works.
Oh really?
That's how
Islam is
Islam
based on what people think?
No.
That's what you
Islam
said.
is based on the
Ask
teaching.
99 people.
I am saying, is that teaching I was taught at school, at madrasa?
I'm not
at
interested in
home.
your teaching. I'm simply
you
saying you made a
Is that
claim.
part of Islam or not?
Are you substantiating only with what you have been taught by your teachers when you were at school? Or are you only substantiating a claim based on some Google research? How are you substantiating your claim?
Are you denying my claim?
Did you not hear what he said to you?
No.
It's not about I'm
saying
denying your claim.
it's
You make the
accepted.
claim and you substantiate that.
It's
I wish you could
accepted.
explain it like this. It's so much more sensible. He's so eloquently expressing that it was a minor mistake as opposed to a thing.
I'm just talking
Yeah.
about difference among
So, brother, just 1 second.
It's an
So firstly, you are basing your arguments on assumptions.
You are just being
Aren't
dismissive.
you? Aren't you? No, aren't you? Are you basing your argument on assumptions?
No.
Right. What is your evidence for your claim?
What do you mean? What's your evidence for that?
You made a claim, provide the evidence.
Okay, I'm saying I don't remember the book right now, right? But I'm also saying it's pretty much accepted tradition in mainstream Islam that happened.
So again,
I don't have to explain to you that where do you get the Prophet Muhammad is a prophet. It's an accepted term. It's an acceptability. It's all accepted.
no, it's not about if it's accepted,
Yes.
then are you arguing?
See, this
Are you
conversation-
arguing? Listen.
This conversation,
Now I'm trying to
this
answer you
conversation
and
could
you're
have
not
been
allowing me.
much more productive, but you decided to not be productive.
Look, you are now throwing ad hominems, right?
I'm not.
I am telling you that you made some claims and your claims are based only on acceptance of community belief system, acceptance of common sense. You are not arguing based on evidence.
I simply ask you a question. The question is simple. How can Muhammad be forgiven of any potential future sins when he is not capable of committing any sin?
Where did you get that from?
Is he?
That statement that he's not capable of making any mistake or sin, what is it based on?
Based on that childhood when he was 6, angels came, opened his chest, cleansed his heart so he can not commit any sins, because
Is this
to
what
be
we-
a prophet, you have to be innocent at heart.
Hang on.
You have to be masoom to be a prophet.
Is this what the text says? He was cleansed because of removing the sin.
I'm just walking by. I didn't come to argue.
You're the claiming. You're making claims, and when challenged with those claims, you're saying, I'm just a visitor walking
You
past.
just want to be dismissive and not engage in
No.
conversation.
If you make a claim, the simple rule is this: substantiate with evidence. Otherwise, leave that claim aside. It's common sense.
This isn't moving forward.
Because you are not proving your claims.
I'm saying it's pretty much accepted. It's in mainstream.
Is it not pretty much accepted that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is a messenger of God?
In Muslim, yes.
Why don't you accept him?
Because that is the me.
1 second, sorry?
I'm not talking about.
accepted because we are not Muslim anymore.
Why do you not accept Prophet Muhammad? Why do you both not accept? Let her speak, man.
Sorry?
If she wants to speak, let her speak.
Because I'm talking to you.
But if she wanted to speak, what's wrong with that?
Because
Suppress her from speaking.
there's two of us talking.
No, when she wanted to speak, let her speak.
Okay, let's stop this. You can continue your
Can you not speak? Know your place, you're a woman.
Okay, so basically you are a murtad, is that what you're saying?
You're telling me that now.
What were these? What was this when they were passing on? Do you know what these are? You don't know? These ones are microphones. When they pop, so you didn't realize they were microphones?
I didn't know it was.
Okay, fair enough. Speaker's corner is a public place. Right? Actually, those who come to Speaker's corner should know that you are going to be recorded. If you don't want to be recorded and you see the cameras, you say otherwise.
Not really.
Is this conversation moving
Right. Let me ask you now some questions to ascertain. Do you believe God exists?
I don't believe there's enough evidence for God's existence.
Okay, fair enough. That's a fair statement. What evidence would suffice to convince you without a shadow of doubt that the Creator exists?
Empirical.
Empirical. Okay? Explain a bit further.
Any evidence, let's say. Any tangible evidence.
Such as?
Such as for existence, manifests itself, shows itself, does something that announces before that I'm doing it. Well, he can't. Any evidence that I exist.
Fine. So if you heard a voice in the sky saying, I am God, believe in me, you would accept?
If I hear,
Yeah, if you heard.
no, it has to be substantiation by others. I
If
am
we
not.
heard that, now someone in the sky saying, I am God, believe in me, that will be sufficient evidence to
If it was
accept.
objective enough, yes.
What do you mean objective enough?
Well, if it's not something like happened in Fatima,
If we all heard a voice coming from the sky,
coming from the sky.
see someone, you see some image there.
If God,
right?
God speaks and say I'm God, and there are people from different groups of life.
No. If all of us heard that, it will be
That'd be
sufficient evidence.
That'd be evidence.
So that will be sufficient evidence. Yeah. And you would not even question that?
Hallucination. We need something replicable.
I need to make
As
that
well as empirical, it needs to be replicable. So it should match
So that needs to be done twice or thrice, a few times, right? Someone needs to speak to you and saying, I'm God from the sky, and you would accept it.
Sure.
And you would accept it?
I'll have to. There's evidence for it. I'm not going to be against evidence.
Wait. So basically, if you heard from the sky a voice and you saw something, and you would be pretty much certain that is God?
Pretty much so. No.
That's what I'm asking you. Conviction and certainty, you're saying no. So that isn't an evidence.
No.
What kind of
you
evidence
asked-
would suffice you?
You changed your question.
What have I changed?
Because first of all, you said if you heard that you believe there is some evidence, yes.
I didn't say anything like that. I asked you first, what would be convincing evidence for you that will satisfy you? Compelling evidence. That example that I offered you, would that be compelling and satisfactory for you?
sure.
You're sure? So if you heard a voice and you saw something saying, I'm God, that is, you'll be absolutely certain now God exists.
There has to be. So, what's the notion of God, first of all? Because every God is different.
Hang on. This voice says, I am God. Are you now going to be absolutely certain and
That's not
convinced?
enough. No.
So that's why I'm asking you. The example that you initially was
But
agreeing.
you see how confusing that is because there is no one singular notion of God.
Let me continue. I asked you for an example of a compelling evidence.
Yes.
That wasn't one.
That's
so,
evidence.
So try
but
again.
There's no evidence for one kind of God.
Hang on. God. We're talking about God, the creator of the
God?
cosmos. He says, I am the creator of all things that exist.
And I'm supposed to take the word
And would that be compelling? You say no. So try another example that will be compelling for you.
I'm saying replicate that again.
If that
And
happens
shows,
again.
shows that thing or whatever the voice is capable enough to create something.
So it's something that this voice, they create something,
Yes.
and you'd believe in it. That yes, I'm
If there
certain.
is evidence, yes, I will.
What do you mean evidence? If what you ask for is provided, you'd believe in it.
No, it's not.
We're still in the same plane.
No, I am trying to establish what meets your criteria of satisfactory and compelling evidence. Every time we're trying to offer on your likings, it seems that it is never going to be satisfactory to you. That is why we are asking is, what would be compelling to you, not to me?
And what if the answer to that is I'm not sure unless I actually see something, and then I could deduce based on what's in front of me? Is that an acceptable answer?
No, because then you will say, oh, it's not compelling. We want from you with
Should I
your
not
clean
be able to
heart,
do that?
no. We want simply from your heart saying, look, from your initial position, oh, there are no sufficient evidence for God. That's what you said, right? That's what you said.
Yes.
That means you are open to evidence. That means you have an idea what that evidence looks like. If you don't have an idea what the evidence looks like, if you don't have an idea what the evidence looks like, then you cannot say if sufficient evidence is provided to me, I will accept, because you haven't got a clue what the sufficient evidence is.
Yes,
you are in a
because we're dealing
position.
with the unknown. That be again making up your mind about the unknown. I'm saying once the evidence is presented, let's analyze that and deduce something from
Absolutely not. You need to have.
maybe-
Is that no sensible
Wait.
thing to do?
You need to have, firstly, the moment you have a position, ideological position, there is no sufficient evidence to me yet to accept a God creator. That means you have some understanding of what evidence will be compelling to you.
No. That means I'll see when the evidence comes forward and judge on the basis of the
Absolutely
evidence.
not. Absolutely
No,
not.
you're just being argumentative.
Absolutely not.
No, you are
Let's
being
move the
argumentative.
conversation forward.
I think
Let's say we
he's
agree
asking,
with
what is your criteria? When you look for God, what criteria do you use? That if I
I
find...
don't look for God.
No, hear me out. So if I find X, Y, and Z, then that is what God is to me. Do you have such a criteria?
No.
Then how would you know what you're looking for?
Because when the evidence is
Unknown,
provided,
because it's
you
literally unknown.
What do you mean
It's
unknown?
unknown for you as well.
No, when you say unknown, what do you mean? When you say you're looking for God, then
I never said that.
so you're not looking for God. So you're not open to looking for God at all.
No.
There you
I
go.
spend my day with it.
okay, look,
Don't do that.
my
did
point
not
is
say
simple.
that.
When you say,
That's a misunderstanding. That's what
when you say, I will analyze the evidence, the problem is this. When you look at the evidence, you will say, that's not sufficient, because you will shift the goalpost of what is sufficient to you. That is why from the very outset,
I
let me
can see
finish.
the validity of that.
From the very outset, you should have some criteria which will determine sufficiency of evidence from the very beginning.
So does that list of criteria, are you saying that I have to have a comprehensive,
No, something that is
Okay, so
compelling
let's
to
go
you.
with some things. Okay, so how do I know that this exists? Yeah, it's tangible, it's empirical.
That Victor
There's,
is so noisy, honestly.
it's replicable. We could break it down and repeat.
Guys, can we move there, because
experiments
we
on
can
it,
barely hear
and it
with
would
Victor.
consistently give us the same results. Those would be some of the things on the list that I would be looking for in something that claims to be divinity.
Okay.
and presence.
In fact, let's even go back.
Mansoor, shall we move? Victor is shouting. Guys,
And how do you know Victor's going to follow us? Right. Do you believe that you exist? Or are you hyper-skeptical?
Am I?
Are you hyper-skeptical?
No, I believe that I exist.
Right. So, being in existence, is it possible, because you exist, there was at some point in the past, there was absolute nothingness?
Yes, I guess so.
What is absolute nothingness to you?
It's a difficult question to answer. So it's when nothing exists. And I have to use the word nothing in the answer. I'm conscious of that.
So, what is absolute nothingness to you again? Clarify.
It would be the absence of anything.
Right. So, if there was absence of anything and everything, could this result in something like you? And how do you, with your empirical evidence, come to that conclusion that it's
I think
possible?
what we're going to do, just to jump ahead of this conversation, so what we're going to do is we're going to move to the point where we say there's no uncaused cause, yeah? So basically nothing exists, so therefore nothing could come of nothing. But if we take that line of thinking back, what you're going to say to me is there needs to be a cause for things to exist. Your cause is going to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're going to say because of him, he made things exist. But my question to that would be, well, what made this God exist?
Absolutely not. I am trying to work from foundational principles. You're trying to think
this is
ahead.
not a new argument,
No.
is it?
You're trying to think ahead of response, counter-response. No. Work with me. Since you exist
I'm
now,
just conscious of the pace of the conversation.
since you exist now, there are only two logical possibilities. Either something always existed, or something always didn't exist. There is no third, is there?
There's no what?
There is no third option.
But I mean, I'm open to the possibility there might be an option we're not aware of. But if we say those are the only
You
two
see,
options,
again, on what logical basis are you going to say, on a rational basis, there's a third option?
in the same basis that somebody might say that there's a God who has always existed,
On what
but that
logical
nothing can
basis?
exist without.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
On what logical or rational basis are you positing a third option?
Okay, so let's go with either nothing existed.
It's a logical
something
possibility.
always existed. So
What is the
we're
third?
going- Well, let's go with that.
No.
Nothing
What is the third option here? Is there a third?
I don't know.
Can you think of it rationally, logically?
No, I can't.
Right.
Let's go with those
So
options.
with our faculty that we have, we can only come to these two possibilities. Right. So let's take the one with nothingness exists at some point. So now I would like to ask
So which one
you,
are we taking? Say that again for me.
nothingness.
So
Right.
nothing.
Nothingness is the absence of everything. That's the concept we are talking about. It has no energy. It has no quantum fluctuations. It has non-existence. It simply doesn't exist. Right? Can existence come from this non-existence?
So,
Using your logic and rationality,
Yeah.
I expect an answer.
so it sounds like nothing can come from that. So according to your,
Not according to mine, according to your rationality.
so can something come from nothing? I mean, it doesn't sound very persuasive. You're right. It doesn't.
So rationally, would you get rid of this possibility that it's not possible rationally?
I mean, I'm hesitant to get rid of it because I'm conscious of my own limited understanding, and I don't think that quantum physics talks about nothing in the same sense where I'm saying nothing is the absence of everything. So,
But we're not talking about quantum
can we
physics.
park it? Can we park
We are
it?
not talking about quantum physics.
So-
We are talking about absolute nothingness and something. Conceptually, we can understand the contrast between the two. So, using the rational faculty that you have, are you saying that it is possible nothingness, absolute nothingness can
It
give
sounds
rise to...
unlikely. It sounds unlikely. Now that you're breaking
No,
it down.
when you say sounds unlikely, can you not be certain of that? So you're saying it's...
I'm always open to a
Okay,
margin of error.
so let's understand that. So you're saying it's possible non-existence can do something.
I'm saying it's unlikely.
No, hang on.
But I'm always
Hang on.
open to
No.
the window of
I
possibility.
want to understand your position. Non-existence, which doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist. Nothing exists.
I feel like this is the third time I'm
Excuse
asking
me.
the question.
I feel that you're not really engaging with this. If there is
I'm
no...
literally answering every flipping question you're asking
No,
me.
no.
How am I not engaging?
So listen to what I'm trying to say then.
So what I'm saying to you is
Non-existence.
like,
Non-existence.
saying, the phraseology of the question. There's nothing here, and you're saying to me, actually, are you saying to me, almost like you want me to commit to 100% certainty to say, actually, you're right. There's absolutely no way that something can come from nothing. And what I'm saying to you is, I'm probably about 99% on that, but I'm always open to a margin of error or a window of me not understanding something.
Based on what?
So I'm just gonna, based on human error.
No,
or
that
limited
possibility
understanding.
that non-existence can give rise to existence. Where do you get that from? What kind of rational basis do you have for that?
What I'm saying is I'm open to our limitations as human beings in terms of our understanding, and I'm open to margins of error.
Yeah.
So that's all. But for the grounds of your conversation, it's compelling. Your point is compelling that nothing can come from nothing. That sounds very logical and it sounds very sensible. So, but I'm just leaving a 1% margin of error.
But I want to talk about that
But
1%.
you don't want to give me that margin of error.
No, I want to talk about the 1%.
Because sometimes as a human species,
Can I just rephrase it? You know why there's not even a 0.1% of margin of error? The reason for that is because nothing doesn't even exist. It's a concept.
so nothing doesn't even exist.
Do you think it exists?
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, I can
Exactly.
see.
So 100% is impossible.
So you're saying nothing doesn't exist. But
Just
does
like
that- does
infinity
that-
doesn't exist,
But
nothing
does that
doesn't
mean that nothing never existed?
If you know what is nothing, then you will never use that argument or even question it.
Because I can appreciate the concept that nothing, there's nowhere to find nothing now.
He's doing that on purpose. So nothing means
We're trying to have a
absence of
conversation here. Excuse me. Don't
error,
interrupt
which means it
us.
doesn't exist.
I'm not talking to you.
Nothing
I am not talking to you.
conceptually
This is my
is a
competitor.
concept.
Yeah.
So 100% sure from a scientific, logical
So we'll go with
perspective.
his logic that actually there's no sense of nothing existing. But does that, just because nothing doesn't exist now,
Believe that the sun sets in
does
It
that
never
mean
will
that it
exist.
never, no,
It
but
will
doesn't
never
it
exist
previously?
because it's a concept, my friend. It's a concept. It's a concept means, for example, just like infinity doesn't exist. In order for us to communicate as a language,
I do feel like we're getting
Okay,
stuck on a really boring
we need
point.
to just come away
why I
from
didn't
this.
say
one.
from your backbone.
you should have done that earlier.
All of the people.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
If it comes now, then he's doing it on
I
purpose.
am trying to understand
Yeah.
that margin of error. How is it even
Okay,
sensible?
listen, I'm going to give it up. Because I just want the conversation to move forward. So, okay.
No. I don't want to just give it up for the sake of giving it up. I want to understand.
you should understand.
Really.
Listen, I can't stand here and argue labour this one point ad infinitum for us forever. So
But that
I'm
shows
going
this.
to always keep a 1% open because I'm conscious of our limited
Are you
human
1%? Oh,
understanding.
okay. Is there anything that you're 100% certain of? Like your existence. Do you exist 100% certain, or there's 1% error or
No,
point?
there's some error in that. There's some margin of error about conceptually do I exist in the way that I think.
No. Do you really exist? The binary positions are you are absolutely non-existent or you're existent. You're saying there is a margin of error or
Why is it-
possibility
why
that.
is
Let me
it
finish
two
my point.
options?
It's possible you're saying that maybe 0.001% that you don't exist. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I'm saying like
Are you 100% certain then you exist?
I'm confident I exist. Yeah.
No, I'm not asking about
100%,
confidence.
Yeah. Almost 100, maybe 99%.
Still 99, oh my
I like to leave a margin of
No,
error.
that
for
1%
concept.
is possible that you don't exist. Yeah?
So we're
Yeah, I
talking-
like to give a margin of error because
Really?
I'm open to things that we don't know, or maybe I don't exist in the way that I think I exist.
No, it's not about the way, it's about existence. Either you exist or you don't exist.
So can we get back to the?
No, we can't, I'm sorry. Either, excuse me.
We're done here. We're done.
I know, thank
It's
you.
a bit boring.
Yeah, it is. Boring speaking to you sometimes. Yeah, bye-bye.
Who knows?
You know what? Maybe you don't exist. It could be that 1%. That 1% that you don't exist, it's possible.